Hello and welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk on probably either YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify. If you're watching on Washington Live, we're on all three of those platforms, and also Facebook Live, Mount Pleasant Live, and Fairfield Live. I say on live a lot, which is really hard because I say live a lot, and then people have to remind me that the word live isn't part of our show title.
Right.
We're just Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk,
We're not,
which I like to call it Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live. But I'm here. I'm Andy Kretzinger. Here's my co-host here, Hunter Moeller.
Yep.
And Nick Steffen, so you'll see his face a little bit on the first commercial because we've got some. What percentage of people you think are tuning into this for the start of track season? What percent are just wondering about the bracket standings? Because we got a little of both.
I'm going to say like
football.
90% of the people are like me and don't want to watch college basketball anymore because our bracket's completely done for.
Oh, yeah, it's true. So we're probably got more of a track base. Well, that's good news.
Yesterday I got to thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot March Madness is still a thing because I just kind of, like, it sucks.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm a little more positive about my life, as we'll see here after the first commercial. But I noticed that it's so depressing the first Monday because you look forward to those 2 days those 4 days, the first weekend. That's so depressing on Monday, and then you have like a couple of days of depression. Then I realized today it popped into I was thinking about what I was going to do tomorrow, and then it popped in my brain that there's basketball games again tomorrow. Like it shows back up, which is exciting. So, but we'll talk about basketball later. We have to. We've got a little bit of sports, actual live sports going on, even outdoor sports. Hopefully, as long as the weather holds up. But actually, I'm gonna switch my plan here on you.
Okay.
And talk about track season is beginning, and the outdoor track season has begun. You're going to talk about Columbus early bird here in a second, but I wanted to just make an announcement as if anybody doesn't know that the Steve Roth relays are tomorrow, which will be at 3:00 in Washington. That involves a lot of our local teams. Big meet. That's a boys meet. I've actually got a story. I talked to Braden Hartman, their star senior thrower, who was on the Washington Coaches Show. He's during football season, right? And head coach Steve Roth was just on the Coaches Show. If you're just tuned into this channel, you have it on YouTube and you're just watching whatever pops in live. It'll be an exciting track season. I was looking up the conference meets from last year. Our defending champions coming into this year are Washington on the boys' side and Mount Pleasant on the girls' side. And in fact, the Union Sports area got top two. It was Washington and Mount Pleasant on boys, Mount Pleasant and Fairfield on girls last year. So tomorrow we'll get to see some of the current and future stars of track. You will, specifically.
Yeah, and we talked about having so many good athletes last year. You talked about Mount Pleasant and Washington, but that's not even getting into the small schools. I mean,
that's right.
I'll talk about Columbus being great. Winfield's got great athletes on both sides. So it's looking it's just the beginning, but in a couple months here, I'm sure we're going to see plenty of our athletes at Drake Stadium up there in Des Moines.
For sure. Well, and you had we'll jump to the Columbus early bird real quick while I pull up other ones from last week. You had the task of typing up the Columbus early bird results, which was tough because that's a meet held in Columbus. It's always the first outdoor meet that we have, and it had a lot of our teams. And Hunter's got a cough over there, but it had a lot of our teams in it. And we had 20 first place finishers over there between the whole crew, which is a ton. So how'd that go?
It even comes up more to that because we had a couple win 2 events, but looking through the final results here, obviously. Columbus is the host. The Columbus boys, 212 points. They took first overall as a team. Van Buren County with 148 points for second. Winfield Mount Union third, 123. Central Lee 94. Lone Tree 63. Hillcrest Academy 18 and Highland 9. On the girls' side, Lone Tree was the winner. On the team side with 158.5 points. Van Buren County second with 127.5. Highland followed with 116. Winfield Mount Union 96. Central Lee 61. Columbus 54. New London 49. And Hillcrest Academy 15. Then I'll just run through the first place finishers. As you mentioned, we have quite a bit. Kane Namagon, who we talked quite a bit during football season, is a great running back. Took first in the 100-meter dash and 200-meter dash. He clock times 11.06 in the 100-meter and 23.16 in the 200-meter for the top spot. Damian Vergara was another first place finisher for Columbus in the 800-meter. He ran 2 minutes, 9.16. In the 3200-meter, check that. Tristan Miller, another running back for Columbus that we talked quite a bit about. was a first place finisher in the 110 meter hurdles with a time of 15.73. And the Wildcats also took first in the 4x100. That was Jeff Hoback, Riley Cowberg, Miller, and Amagon. Ran a time of 43.36. And then also in high jump, as we saw, Miller was, finished third or fourth last year at state.
Yep.
Took first in this meet, jumped 6'6" for the top spot. Let me see here. Russell Coyle, another footballer and wrestler we talked about. One shot put and discus through 40 feet, 8.5 in the shot, and 117 feet in discus for the top spots there. And then looking here, let me go through here.
As you look, I was just going to mention this is the peak moments. We knew that Columbus track would be pretty darn good, and they're one of the favorites in the Super Conference.
Yeah, and I think
this year.
they won the UNI indoor, I believe.
Yes, they did. They won the indoor state championship over at UNI. So they just dominate the sprints, and then they have so many points in the field as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, they kind of dominate both. They score a ton of points. So that's
their relays are fantastic as well. And obviously,
you remember last year when New London, did they win the indoor or something like that?
New London, I think, won at Iowa State.
And then they they kind of crept up the rankings, and we thought, oh my gosh, New London boys have a chance to win the state meet this year, and they did.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember. Somebody was posting on Twitter of who was like the favorite, and no one ever really. Yeah, Jeff Linder. No one was talking about it, and he was like looking at the events. This is like the favorite to win the state title, and it's like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, we didn't even think about that.
I'm excited to see where Columbus is this year around in the exact same situation. They have a very similar trajectory so far the first month or so of the track season. But go ahead.
For Van Buren, Lincoln Bainbridge ran 10:50.50 for first in the 3,200 meter. Dominic Mariotto, Lucas Fett, Bryce Moquin, and Anthony Duncan finished first in the 800 meter sprint medley with a time of 1:41.02. In the 110 meter shuttle hurdle, Van Buren won. For Winfield Mount Union, Colby Newsom finished first in the 1,600 meter. Gabe Hemsworth, who's coming back after a nice sophomore season last year.
Yep.
Talked to his mom quite a bit. He's grown a lot. I remember he used to be kind of a shorter kid running the hurdles, and now he's like 6'1", kind of running the hurdle. So
yeah, he showed off his sprint speed during basketball a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He was a first place finisher in the 400 meter hurdles with a time of 56.60. On field events, Cam Buffington, and talking to Hemsworth's mom, who's I believe the girls' coach, said Buffington clinched a spot at Drake with a long jump win of 20 feet 11 inches.
I think that might be the school. I think I also saw that was a new school record at Winfield.
I think so. And then the 4x4 of Tice Squirpill, Abram Edwards, Carter Lloyd, and Hemsworth took first. That was the 4x4. And let's see here. The distance medley of, let's see how I have this set up. Cole Milks, Brendan Simmons, Hemsworth, and Newsom took first with a time of 3 minutes and 50 seconds. The distance medley there. Let's see, on the girls' side, this is Van Buren here. Riley Phillips finished first in the 1,500 meter. Libby Bainbridge first place in the 400 meter hurdles. A lot of big list here.
We had a lot of winners.
And then the Warriors also took first in the 4x8. Go down the list here. For Highland, the Huskies were first place in the 4x2. They took first in the this is Winfield. My bad. Sarah Burton took first in the long jump. She
for
was
Highland.
For Highland. She was a state finisher last year.
Yep. I think she was a state and Drake qualifier last year.
Yep. For Winfield, the Winfield girls took first in the 4x4, and then WMU's Quinn Smith took first in the high jump with a leap of 4.8, and then then Columbus took first. The last kind of first place finish here was the Columbus girls took first in the distance medley. So, yeah, a lot of first place finishers.
Yeah.
So sorry for me trying to go down the whole list.
It was a very stacked meet with our teams, which Hunter and I each trade off the when that happens during track season. We're trying to get everybody's names in. It's like that's when we work hard. It's track season when we have that many.
Especially when we have so many good teams. And then
Yeah. We talk about all the time that if you were to rank the sports as far as how good our area is, the Southeast Iowa, track has to be top 3 for sure. It might be number 1.
Might be number 1, yeah.
Might be number 1.
Because, I mean, well, I looked in last year, New London, Mid-Prairie girls.
Yeah, definitely. Last year we had two state champions, and Washington got 4th. Fairfield, Mount Pleasant, New London, and Hillcrest Academy were in Pella for the Central Indoor. That was the end of the indoor season, by the way, the end of last week. We had some first places there. Mount Pleasant was able to show off their sprinters and jumpers are doing pretty darn good. Will Davidson won a couple of events there, the 60-meter hurdles and the 200-meter dash. So we'll say goodbye to the 60-meter hurdles since that's the end of that. We'll see how he shows out in the 100-meter hurdles probably tomorrow. A couple of first place finishes there. I believe that Will Davidson is first place in 3A in the 200-meter dash right now, which him and Elijah Morris of Washington will for sure be 2 of the best in 3A this year. Avon Trong, 21 feet 6 inches on the long jump, beat Davidson. Davidson got second, just over 21 feet for him. So Mount Pleasant's got a strong couple of jumpers this year. Isaac Gerald 4th for them in the shot put. This is Mount Pleasant boys. And then the 4x8 also placed. And did I lose what place they got after a few days of thinking I had it there? They're top 8 for sure. And that 4x8 is Gabe Feldman, Ben Carthy, Isaac Reinders, and Jacob Rickman. That's a state qualifier from last year. 4x8, not all of his kids, but 4x8 for Mount Pleasant. Also in boys competition, speaking of jumpers, Cade Benjamin, who's an absolute favorite for not only Class 1A, but one of the Drake favorites, New London jumper, 6 feet 6 inches. So just under his, he jumped 6'7".
6'9" is his best.
6'9" is his best, and he jumped 6'7".
6'7" to win the state title last year.
Last year to win the title. And then right behind him, Hillcrest Academy's Owen Scott, 6 foot even. So that's a new name to be watching jump up the list there. In the 800, Ryland Martin won, another New London track star that's coming back from that state championship last year. 2 minutes, 3.29 seconds. Mount Pleasant's Ben Carthy was just behind him in 6th. And then the New London 4x4 team of Rian Seberg, Cale Westerbeck, Cade Benjamin, and Ryland Martin won in 3:49.52. They either won or got second. Let me see here. I'm reading off of my little cheat sheet that I used to write the story, and every once in a while I just have to go back and fill in the numbers later. On the girls' side, it was a boy-girl meet. Mount Pleasant's 4x1 team, Bailey Jalis, Tristan Scholl, Kinley White, and Andy Scott won. Andy Scott back. Did we talk about that last week? She was out with an injury in basketball, and now it was a lower body injury, ankle, knee, one of the two. Yep. And it was a little scary one, and I remember thinking, oh, that really hurts the Mount Pleasant girls track team. Yep. She just joined the track team last year. She used to be a soccer player, and she's a burner in the shorter distance events, and she's back and making a difference already. Their second 4x100 team got 6th in that too, so they even had 2. They had a 3rd place with Josie Gilmore in the high jump, 4:10 for Josie Gilmore. The girls, we didn't have as many winners or top 5s, but Fairfield 60-meter hurdle, Lily Bergeron and Josie Gilmore, who will be 2 of the top 100-meter hurdlers on the girls' side in the SEC, went 9-10. Lily Bergeron of Fairfield and Josie Gilmore of Mount Pleasant. So that'll be a cool little rivalry. The hurdles between Fairfield and Mount Pleasant girls have been a cool little rivalry the last couple of years, even though both teams did lose a ton of talent last year. Anyway, as I said, 60-meter hurdles. Lily was 10.46 seconds for 9th. Josie Gilmore, 10.47 for 10th. And then they had a 14th place out of Melina Bloomquist in the 1500. Mount Pleasant Isabel Mader was right behind her in 16th. Hillcrest Academy girls got a 15th place, which, as I said, the girls was a stacked group. 15th place long jump from Delaney Shaw, 4 feet 6 to 4 points. That's wrong. I have the distance wrong, but Delaney Shaw got 15th in the long, jump there. So, some early results from track. Of course, in these indoor, when you go to the indoor meets, it's like you're going against all the best of the best. Yeah. The teams from Des Moines, the teams from Cedar Rapids, they're all 1A through 4A. So a pretty special into the indoor season. And as you said, the outdoor track season is kicking off. We got Columbus, got the Steve Roth relays tomorrow.
One name I forgot to mention, I'll put out here.
Go ahead.
I just noticed I forgot it. Keaton Townsley, one of the best
100-meter
hurdlers on the girls' side, took first in the Columbus meet. So in that event with an 18.05. So
I'm sure some of our Winfield watchers noticed this, but I covered the Southeast Iowa Union not the Southeast Iowa Union All-Star games. The Southeast Iowa All-Star Senior Games, and they had Keaton as Ketty Townsley on the Ketty on the roster.
I think you like that.
I don't know. I was gonna mention it to a Winfield person. I just didn't see it. I usually am just chatty and talk with everybody, and I think I was quiet that night because the tournament was going on, so I probably was stressed out. Anyway, I was just depressed because Iowa had lost 2 days earlier, and Drake lost Friday night, so I was just depressed. Anyway, and what do we? Oh, we got one more piece of sports which we're gonna fit in before this first commercial break. Big day. Yesterday or 2 days ago, when they came out with 2 days ago, Monday, the football districts for the Iowa High School Athletic Association. It's kind of a surprise to everyone when they come out because they just kind of come out of the blue. They had just gotten the classifications out. We talked about them last week, I think.
Yep.
And I just got a reply to them on Twitter, so I remembered, we better talk about that on the show. But there's big news in the world of our three big schools, especially as we already knew Mount Pleasant was back in 3A for football. They are in the same district as Washington. I believe Washington and Mount Pleasant are in District 5. I will double check to make sure on that. 4? Here we go. Nick knows. Which means if Washington and Mount Pleasant are in District 5 or 4, that means that you can give me a thumbs up on this one, Nick. Fairfield is in District 5 because I know they were one away. So I've heard a couple unhappy people that Fairfield is not in the same district as Washington. And Mount
I
Pleasant.
think their closest opponent is Williamsburg.
Yeah, they got pushed west.
And they're like Williamsburg, Mount Vernon, and...
Yeah, Williamsburg, Mount Vernon. Here, I wrote a story on the newspaper, but I'm going to jump it up anyway. Mount Pleasant, Washington are in District 4 with Davenport Assumption, Fort Madison, Keokuk, and Mount Vernon. And then Fairfield is in District 5 with Benton, Grinnell, Solon, South Tama, and Williamsburg. Yep. So yes, Fairfield has some traveling to do. And I didn't know that they would put the entire Southeast Conference in a district like they have in the past. There's a lot of things that go into that. Strength of the district is one. Mm-hmm. Obviously, geography. Yeah. I almost called it geology. Geography is one of those things. And so that was a little different.
It's kind of interesting. I think I get it. Kind of just because, I get like why people would be upset just because Washington's farther north than Fairfield technically, I guess. But I think, like, I don't know.
Yeah, true. You could have made the argument that, I think mostly it's people just want Washington and Fairfield and Mount Pleasant to be in the same one.
Right.
And then if they aren't, then people get upset. But that doesn't mean that Fairfield won't be playing local teams.
Right.
They could play, they have 2 non-district games.
Right.
So they could, as long as everyone agrees to it and the state says yes, they could pick up Mount Pleasant and Washington. Mount Pleasant was in a different class this last 2 years, and both years they played Washington and Mount Pleasant first 2 games of the year. I thought it was kind of anticlimactic that a couple of our better rivalry games were right at the beginning. I kind of like them to be in the middle, so you get a little feeler. Right. But that makes every game, that makes those non-district games seem pretty important when they're your rivals.
Right.
What else do we have to talk about? Mid-Prairie is our only 2A this year. They're in it with Albia Central Lee, Davis County, Mediapolis, and West Burlington, Notre Dame. Our 1A team, Sigourney, Keota, and Cardinal got grouped into the same one, so they'll be back in the same district. And then the Class A is basically the Southeast Iowa Union class, or district that everyone got put in because in District 5, Columbus, Highland, Pekin, Van Buren County, all in the same one, and they are also joined by local teams Danville, who used to have a co-op with Mount Pleasant, along with Lisbon, Loiza, Muscatine, and Wapello. So that's our local list of local districts. And then the 8-man teams.
Same as New London, Waco, and
Winfield Mount Union, all 3 together. So yeah, those are pretty local. So the big surprise is that Fairfield is not in the same district as Mount Pleasant, Washington. So yeah, you can. I don't know. I don't know. We didn't decide that. I was gonna say just if you have any comments about that you want aired out, email us or contact us and we'll throw it on next week's show.
People are not happy.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple people that aren't very happy, but that's how it shakes out. Anyway, that's all we have for the first segment of this Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. We have some important stuff to talk about, a lot still, And one thing a lot of people are probably asking about is who's winning our bracket challenge. So after this 2-minute commercial, we're going to go over the see where we all stand and see who's the favorite for our championship belt / trophy and the Friends of the Union bracket challenge.
Yep.
So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
And we're back here, Andy, just getting back to his seat. We're gonna jump right into what, as you mentioned, people are probably most excited for.
Yes, the people are doing well.
Our Friends of the Union NCAA bracket challenge here. Let's just say it's not going well for me or Nick. Nick still has some hope. I've got about 3 teams that I'm kind of leaning on. Andy, sitting up here, tied for third, is looking pretty good still. But yeah, it's been paying for me so far. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling sitting up near the top?
I'm feeling good. I was actually just in our editor James's office to ask him if he is James. By the way, if you're James Brackett, please reply because I don't know who it is. I don't know which James. We've got a lot of Jameses, but your ESPN fan, whatever. I don't think it says his name. So he's been at the top this entire time, but I wouldn't say he's the odds-on favorite because Sean Atch. Do we know who Sean?
Nope.
Is that Sean? Is that short for Sean Atchinson? Or just Atch?
I have
don't
no
know.
clue.
But he it does his fourth bracket, and it was the right one for him to join in on. He is not only, if we can click on Sean Atch's bracket, not only is he
he's got
tied
the
for
most
first,
total left.
and not only does he have the most total left, but if you scroll down to his final 4, if I were to fill out a bracket right now, I would make this my final 4. He's got Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and UConn, which I believe are the 4 that I think are going to move on. Maybe Texas and Houston is a little 50-50. Although isn't that going to be a little?
I think Texas is going to destroy Houston.
Isn't that going to be a little brother syndrome type thing if Houston is playing against Texas?
What do I know?
Because Texas is the big school in that, in Texas, and so yeah, he has a great bracket. He has tons of Elite 8 teams left. Kansas State, Tennessee. He had FAU moving on.
Wow,
I was looking at this earlier.
That's
and I was
insane.
Impressed. So he's the favorite right now. But anyone towards the top, if you still got a champion in, especially if you're the top person with your champion, you got a pretty good chance because it's 40 points for the Sweet 16 wins, and then 80.
Wow.
And then 160
I really need Texas
for the
to
Final
win.
4 wins.
I need you to have a UConn lose.
And 320 if your team wins the championship.
Because my only hope is because you have Kansas.
I have Kansas and Duke playing, so
yeah, and so I have Duke and UConn. So I need UConn to win out.
Okay, wait. Let me look at this for you guys, because remember the loser between us 3 needs to buy a dinner for the championship. And Nick is behind.
Yeah.
But you have 3 Final Four teams going.
I do.
That's more than Hunter
It was
has.
really the East that killed me.
Yeah, Purdue.
So I had Providence as like
man,
a dark horse.
That's a lot of scratch outs.
Yeah, go look at mine.
yeah, pull up Hunter. See how this is doing. Hunter's champion is out because he had Kansas.
My champion,
A lot
my
of people
Final
had
Four. I
Kansas.
only have 2 Final Four teams left, man.
You only have 2 Final Four teams? I
So
think
maybe
you
there's hope for me.
clicked the wrong one. There's Samantha. Samantha, Hunter's fiance, is doing better than him. She was towards the top.
Yeah, she was like top 5 for a long time.
Yeah, my wife's pretty high up there too, but her champion Marquette is out.
See, here's my hope right here: Alabama and Texas making the Final Four.
Yep, there you
But
go.
then I also have Kansas State still alive, I think.
I've got you
UConn.
totally blocked for first because I have both those.
Yeah, I know.
You got Kansas State,
Yep.
and that's a lot of scratches too. So it's between Nick and Hunter. We basically have a championship between you guys two? Kansas State? No, because even if Kansas State wins, Nick's got plenty of points. But we'll probably know by next week.
Oh yeah.
Which
Oh,
of
we'll
you two
know
loses.
we'll know if Texas loses, or
Yeah.
Kansas State loses.
Yeah, if Kansas State loses, you're pretty
Well,
much
if UConn
done, right?
loses as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
UConn loses. Yeah, I think it'll be. But you guys, well, no, Hunter can't catch me.
No.
But Nick can because
You'd
he's
have to
got
have
live
every.
dogs.
You'd have to have every one of your teams lose, which is
Yeah. I
think-
kind of impossible because.
I think Andy, you beat out of the 3 of us. I think you won.
I
It's
think.
more about
Well, if
who's paying
UConn
money.
goes though, if UConn goes, you can. That's 320 points.
True.
Right now, if I had to bet on somebody, I would. UConn would definitely be up there. So Sean Atch, if Alabama wins, I can't see anyone topping him. That's tough for Mr. Josh
Alabama-
Fields here because he's also got Alabama. winning.
Alabama looks good though, man.
Jim Henney also. There's Andrew Brown representing Winfield Union with crossed out champion with Kansas.
I know, just the lone one up there.
That's really tough when
Go
you're
look at his
the-
bracket. Look, there's like
Andrew
Brown. There's like
Yeah,
14
check Andrew
people
Brown.
in the top, and he's the only one that has the champion crossed out.
Now, Andrew Brown is a very popular name. Like that's a very popular first and last name. I just assume this is the senior at Winfield Union.
He's got-
Oh, he had Marquette
Oh,
going.
and
Marquette
Purdue.
going, Purdue. I will never pick or bet on Purdue for anything again.
Oh no. Arizona
Too many
Baylor.
times.
So like, yeah, he's got.
Got the Houston
Oh,
Texas
his
matchup,
right side of
though.
the bracket though is
Who has
pretty
Miami?
stout.
Yeah.
Hey, you
I
want
think
to?
the
And
East-
San Diego State too. That hurts.
I think the East just messed up everyone.
Do
I
you
think
want
the
to?
East was the craziest.
Yeah, the East was wild. Do you want to see a cool feature that I don't think a lot of people know about? But Nick, if you click on your bracket.
Okay. I gotta go.
Yeah, there we go. Rutgers got robbed. And then you see that bracket cast bottom left?
Yeah.
Check that out. Click it. And now if you go click any of the games up there, like click on, just anything, like Kansas State, Michigan State. And now look off to the left side.
Oh, so
you
then
can see everybody in the group, who they have winning this game and how far they have. So if you scroll through, you see Sean Atch has the Kansas State in the lead. So you can see who gets hurt the most.
Oh, like
Hey, there's
points.
Mike Wilson. I saw Mike Wilson's pretty. Right below his wife too, in the standings. That's Mount Pleasant principal Mike Wilson.
Oh, so
so you
get
can
everyone's
see.
points as well.
Yeah, click on. I want to know. Can you click on the? Where's Miami? Miami and Houston. I want to know who's got. If Miami wins, I want to know who's making a jump because I feel like everyone would have
I think
Houston.
everyone's picking Houston.
Does not.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, there's one.
Panthers.
Oh, Mike Wilson.
Mike Wilson
Second
with
shout out
the-
of the day. He's the only person that's
He's
going to
the
get some
only
points if
one that has.
Miami wins. Because you kind of want to be in that situation where you can at least jump up past everybody.
Yeah.
No one's going to get something from Princeton and Creighton. That's dead. Xavier, Texas will probably separate the men from the boys a little bit.
Oh, I had Xavier
from
getting
the
upset
girls.
like the first round. So
I think Princeton's gonna win.
I was, Princeton looks really good.
Oh yeah, I think they have a chance against Creighton.
Can you imagine? Imagine if Princeton goes all the way.
Well, I'm very excited because you can also on the ESPN thing, you can click on the leaderboard for everybody. And last year, because there was a 15 seed in the Final Four or the Elite Eight?
Lead it.
Elite Eight. The Peacocks, who was that?
St.
Peter's, you're right. St. Peter's. So at the time when the Elite Eight was about to happen, if you clicked on the leaderboard, the entire leaderboard had St. Peter's winning because the only people that would have picked them to go that far were St. Peter's students.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. So I'm excited for that. So there we go. So basically, Sean Atch, you got a good shot. James Brackett. Josh Fields, you're in trouble with, you're getting blocked there. Andrew Brown, who's probably the highest you'll be because of the Kansas thing. And then Jim Helm, you're riding Texas right now. Jim Helm, where did I come up with Jim? The Helm. The Helm.
Because you looked at Jim
I probably know who that is. If I could just think about it. Helmerson? Is that a Helmerson? Pretty good chance that's a Helmerson, I'm going to say.
I don't know.
You've got Texas. San Diego's finest has got Houston. Francis. Is that a New London Francis? It's got
Yeah,
Gonzaga?
it was Colton Francis.
Colton Francis, that makes sense.
He's looked good. Gonzaga, huh?
Yep. KB10, you're the
Imagine
top
if
Tennessee right
Gonzaga
now.
goes, he's got a great
Kevin
shot because
Burns.
he's the only one with Gonzaga.
I was
in the
gonna
top
say.
there.
Oh, I just noticed that Josh Fields has 2 in the top 11. So, those are pretty much, my wife's down and tied for 11th. Basically,
Seeing
that's who we're down
Am I
to.
the
is
only
those-
one with UConn?
Yeah, you have.
You're the only
if
person
they
with
go-
UConn in the whole thing?
Yeah.
Like that, then you're still alive.
Why
So
does
if
it, why
UConn-
does why does it feel
you're
like every
plenty
time
alive.
UConn gets to if UConn gets past the Sweet 16, I feel like they win the national title.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you got to think I picked Kentucky and then of course they lost, but my logic was they have Division I, they have 5-star guys. UConn has to only have 4 and 5-star
Oh,
guys
yeah.
to go to UConn.
I'm about to become the biggest UConn fan ever.
Yeah, you could jump the entire list if UConn goes all the way, probably.
That's true.
So really, what you should cheer for is UConn to go, and then all the upsets to happen in the world.
Yeah.
Then you could still win it. I think it'd be funny if one of us won.
Although if Bama loses, if Bama or Houston lose, it's gonna hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, that'll be really what.
Yeah, because even though I haven't won, I've been my Final Four. So
I have one thing for you to do before we stop talking about this. One thing that scares me as somebody who has UCLA, click on leaderboard. Are there going to be any inappropriate words on the... maybe we shouldn't click on leaderboard. I don't know what everybody named their brackets, so just trust me on this. But if you click on leaderboard, all the top brackets have UCLA winning for whatever reason, whatever mathematical reason. Yeah, I want you to click on it, but I don't because I'm sure, I am sure that out of the amount of names that we're going to see.
But aren't 90% of national champions from the east of the Mississippi?
Hey.
Yeah, that's true. Well, besides UCLA.
Look at top group and look at the top name.
Top group? Top. No, don't say that.
We won't put that
Don't
on
like
the air.
that.
We won't put that on the
Cut
air.
that. Yeah. So I didn't even think about the fact that we put on that there's inappropriate words on the
It's
right
so
side. So
bad.
don't look at the right side of the screen.
It's not on the.
There we go. It's
screen.
not
I
on
can't see
anymore.
it.
Oh, good. Well,
No one saw that.
and no one has the replay function because YouTube. It's still 2001, so
Right.
YouTube hasn't invented that yet. But with that, there we go. That's where we stand. And next week we probably won't have our champion yet, but we'll have a
It'll
pretty
be
good
close.
idea.
I have a good idea.
So maybe I'll get statements from our contenders next week. Maybe that's a homework for us to find our contenders after this weekend and then get statements before next Wednesday. Before next Tuesday. Spoiler. I almost had a spoiler. We're going to go to commercial, and then we have a huge announcement after the commercial. So stick around. The future of this show depends on it.
Yep.
Protection is important, especially when you're talking about your dreams, which is why we're going to keep you covered with plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. That's protection.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
We're back. I teased a big announcement, but before that, I want one more thing to say about the brackets. If you can just throw up the last place on our thing. So the person who's in last in the Friends of the Union bracket right now is Addie Krutzinger, a.k.a. a.k.a. my 5-year-old, who created hers based on, basically I just told her the mascots. And so she's in trouble. She does have San Diego State in the Final Four, so she's not totally dead yet. But she's been asking a lot about, Daddy, how many points do I have in my thing? And so I'll just say how many points, which even though she's last, she's got like 250. And so
how many do you get for correctly picking a team making the Final Four?
That's 80 points. So if there's a bunch of upsets, she could pass people definitely. But so she had Pittsburgh. She was riding with Pittsburgh. And so she asked pretty much every day, even when there's not games, can we check the basketball thing so I can see my points? And then I'll say, you got 230 points. And she'll go, whoa, that's a lot of points. Yeah. So she asked if she was going to win the trophy yesterday. And I had to break it to her that I don't think that you're going to win this trophy this year.
Well, she was beating me after the first day,
yeah,
which was humbling.
Yeah, she had some, all the kids. I have another group where all of our kids play. And at the beginning of it was a pretty crazy first weekend. So we had a kid, we had a 6-year-old leading my friends group for a while.
There you go.
But the fun sounding teams. One of my friends' sons picked Boise State for a couple games because Boise sounds like boys.
Ooh.
So yeah. Anyway, that's all
news?
the March.
What's our exciting news?
This is our news. Breaking news from the Southeast Iowa Union Sports Desk, which is currently in Washington, Iowa. But among others, with our couple of us live in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. So we drive around all the time in Hunter here from New London. So we have a new recording space. So we're gonna have 2 recording spaces now. We have one in Washington and one in Mount Pleasant. The show is going to be moved to Mount Pleasant. You're a big time show when you get moved to a different city.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure that when when ESPN got moved out to Connecticut, if that ever happened, or those big time radio jockeys, they get big and then they move to a different one. We're moving. We're going to be an all new studio next week.
Yep.
Not only that, it is an all new time next week.
Yep.
It is going to be on Tuesdays, which is a little closer to the weekend, so you'll get more updated coverage or whatever from the weekend stuff, which most of the big sports events have the weekends. And it's going to be a 1:00 show. You can always watch. It's going to be on all the same channels, so you can always replay it. So if you're used to watching it at 2:00,
tune in.
You can just tune in and start it there and pretend it's live. But it will be 1:00 on Tuesdays starting next week. So that should give us some freedom to do some fun things because it's going to be a little closer to my house.
Right.
And so
a couple blocks away, huh?
Couple blocks away, and so we'll have fun. Are we allowed to announce anything else about the Mount Pleasant channel? Probably not. That would be stepping on.
The first Mount Pleasant Live morning show is on Tuesday at 8 a.m.
Oh, there we go. So the kickoff day of Mount Pleasant live stuff in Mount Pleasant, because Nick does Mount Pleasant news shows as well as Fairfield news shows. But the next branch of this video project is sprouting on Tuesday.
Sweet.
So there we go, and we're a multi-town organization, and our video will now reflect that.
Yep.
So we will not see you next week.
Nope.
We will
see you next week,
but we will not see you at the same time,
Yeah.
same place. Not same time, same place, same channel. We'll see you on
Tuesday.
When? At 1:00 Central Standard Time.
Yep.
See you next week.
See you next week.